Well, hello there, this is Shane from Shane's Reviews. I hope that you guys and gals are having a great day today. Ooh, it's been a week, that's for sure. But it's not been a bad week. Now, let's get into it. Quite seriously though, I do hope that you guys and gals have been staying healthy and happy within what all we can do in our particular areas. So, with that being said, today's book we're going to be talking about is Blade Runner, wrote by Philip K. Dick, narrated by Scott Brick. Now this, I have to put a preface right here. This is based on Do Electronic Sheep Have Dreams? I think that's what it was called, which was actually the thing that inspired Blade Runner. So I don't know the differences, and what I may do is I may get that and check it out as well, because I had never read this. I had read something I think that was kind of similar to it, but this book was a whole lot different than the movie was, that's for sure. I don't want to give any spoilers to the movie, the original, or to the second one, simply because, if you've never seen them, they're really good if you like sci-fi, so I don't want to run all those. But in this book, we have some of the same characters and some of the same scenarios, but there's a lot of differences, a whole lot. So let's get to the brunt of it. The narration, Scott Brick. What can you say? It's Scott Brick. Good job. The story itself, I found a little bit refreshing because I'm very familiar with Blade Runner. I've seen it a multitude of times over the years, and I believe even I've read the precursor to that. So seeing this layout and this way of the story was kind of neat. I liked it a lot. Do I like it more than the movie? No, the movie's got a special place in my heart. It's the same story told in a different way with different things happening in different scenarios for the characters. However, if you were to just make a in-print book of the movie, that would work, but would it be as entertaining as this? No, I don't think it would be. And that's the reason why I like it, because it's just on that line, either which way, and that's good. With that being said, narrations are good, the story's a little bit different. If you don't know anything about Blade Runner, it is a futuristic type of a book where society has moved on. We get a little bit more in the book than we did in the movie about what had actually happened, and you kind of have to piece it together though as you read it. There's a couple sections that allude to, if we could move and get away from here, we would. However, life has been pretty well sucked out of the world at this point because of things that were done, and that's the reason why a lot of people were migrating away. That kind of sets up the dystopia. That kind of sets up that we're on the cusp, we're on the edge, things are falling apart, and then we are introduced to this character that we already know, Richard Deckard. He's a lot more developed and a whole lot more human in the book than was in the movie. So he's got a wife. In the beginning, it was driving me nuts. I was having a hard time getting into it, not because of it being so far away from what I'm used to already in taking on Blade Runner, no. But it had to do with the amount of detail that was being given. They're talking about this device that they have. It's like an emotion organ where they can dial in particular emotions. That's kind of an important setup on a few levels. One, androids in this story, that's how they suss them out. That's how they figure out that these people are indeed an android or not an android, is based upon their emotional response to questions that have to do with life and sometimes relationships. As far as this though, this was talking about them dialing to this number for this or dialing to this number for that. And I think that even though I personally didn't enjoy that, it was an interesting idea. It was an important idea, and without it, I don't think that it would have the same effect for me at the end of the book. Mainly because we already know, not from the movies, but if you've ever read it before, you know about Mercer, you know about people communing and sharing their emotions back and forth, and this is something that androids miss out on altogether. So why is this any different? Well, it has to do with his connection to his wife and also his emotional states throughout the book. So he's kind of upset because he has an electronic sheep that's up on the roof, and it's
Why? Why? What? Why?
Not that it's sick or anything, it's just he knows that it's fraudulent. He knows that it's electronic. But there's social boundaries where people cannot ask or should not ask you if your animal is real or fake. Understandable, and the whole reason why is because of that emotional connection to something that's alive besides yourself. If you're taking care of yourself and your partner, and if you have an animal, then these are things that are supposed to make you more human. It doesn't actually say that, but it's a way for people to be more interactive whenever they're sharing their stuff, because animals, in my opinion, are very random creatures, although some of them, well, do these same repetitive things almost on a schedule. It's kind of funny to see. It may seem chaotic, but if you look at it from the big picture, they fit within a box. And I'm not just referring to cats on that. But so they will take their emotions or daily things. Like, let's say you had an incredibly good afternoon. You went out on a date and things went the way that it should. The virus that we've been experiencing is gone and everybody's happy-go-lucky, and it's like the 1950s. Everybody's just out and palling around and there's nothing wrong with the world. And so you would be incredibly elated after such an event, yes. And so it is your civic duty now to go share that with the rest of the world. But Deckard points out a very, very important thing about that experience is then it's no longer yours. Because now you've gone from, I'm at an emotional high and I feel really good. I've got those little dopamines going on. Yay. And then as soon as you merge in with this stream of consciousness to share that, you also take on all the bad that other people are experiencing. So if people are depressed, then I just had a great day turns into everybody else's bad day. And so he expresses that later on, and rightfully so, because I hadn't even thought of that. Usually I catch details like that, but man, I missed that one. Other things that I found very unique was just that whole psychological aspect for Deckard, because he's a struggling individual on trying to keep his wife happy, which she's had a lot of problems, and feeling the worth of life. And he himself, being that he fits within a very specific category of an android hunter that tracks down rogue androids and retires them or kills them, it's always paid the bills, but it's not something that has ever really helped him out a lot. So they struggle financially. That's the reason why they have that electronic sheep instead of an actual sheep. And so parts of the story aren't necessarily focused on, but certainly drive home the importance of him finding an animal that he feels is proper. Also, some of the problems that come along with that for these people in this story. And I really hated it because there was a particular point where he had achieved a goal. In order for him to complete what the department heads wanted him to do, he had to finish getting rid of the rogue androids that had come to Earth from Mars after doing something fairly bad. So that goal that he had achieved was wiped out because of them and because of what was done. And that hit him pretty hard. Now, one of the more fantastical things, but the cooler things, I think, was the way the story wrapped up. You'll remember, if you've seen the movie, the guy that was the tinkerer that made all the dolls, right? That was hanging out with the androids. He refers to himself as a chicken head or as a special. Yeah, it's just him being in that and seeing his emotional responses to these entities that are false around him. Knowing what they want to do, but still fighting internally on him just wanting acceptance of himself so bad. Because I think that it even said that he wasn't allowed to do the whole Mercer thing because of his IQ. But he's actually a very pivotal character whenever everything starts to get wrapped up, which is fairly cool as well. That brings me around to the misdirection. The reason why I usually struggle with reading Philip K. Dick, it's not that I can't follow him. It's not that at all. It's his use of misdirection. He's better than any wizard that ever came out of Hogwarts whenever it comes to that, good or bad. He has a way of getting me off kilter. And yes, I should see it coming. Yes, I usually do, but with him, for whatever reason, it always sneaks up on me. And so for that, the clap award. So yes, let's give Philip K. Dick the clap. As bad as that sounds. All right. Is this book worth your time, efforts, and energies? I don't know. I mean, Blade Runner is already one of those things. If you haven't seen it and you watch it, it's going to be something that gets you feeling off kilter and you don't like, or it's going to be something that you're going to absolutely love. And the book, the same, because there's these particular moments, these story highlights, whenever you get from A, B to C. B is usually like in the negative instead of the positive or whatever. I mean, it's so crazy the way he pulls a story around. If you like things that are like that, I would highly recommend reading this. As far as myself, whenever it came to like, what did I get from this book, right? I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. I wasn't expecting anything new at all, really. And the reason why is because I've seen Blade Runner so many times. I've seen the new one as well a few times. I've kept up with news releases and things that Philip K. Dick has said about, this, that, or the other. And so, I felt like I was pretty much on top of my game there. I really did. I was wrong. So it's a very different kind of a read. I mean, there's material in there if you've read the other book and you've read or watched the movies. There's stuff in there that's going to be new to you that you haven't seen before. So yeah, I would say so. I would say it would certainly be worth your time. The little check boxes that it hits for me: sci-fi, yes. Dystopian future, yes. Is it end of the world if the person doesn't pull it off? No, but it would very negatively affect the characters. So for him, yes. And did it keep me involved while I was reading? I'm going to be honest, I almost put it down when they're talking about the pin dial, I think is what they refer to it as. That, what I've already referenced, the emotional organ, where you can hit specific numbers and it'll give you particular feelings. I'm glad that I kind of stuck that out because, if you skip ahead in the story, sometimes things don't make sense, and this gave a very interesting interplay in between Deckard and his wife. There's all kinds of twists and turns in it as well, and so that makes it kind of enjoyable. So it kept me engaged. So it fills out the world quite a bit. It fills out the motivations behind particular characters and what they're actually doing, and even the androids that were in there as well. And so I enjoyed it, and if you pick it up, I hope that you do too. Now, I may or may not put out a review about the other book but I don't know if it was because of those materials being mixed up and a new view being shown, or if I did a horrible job retaining the original and these two are the same. So if they're the same, expect a 30-second video going, yeah, it was the same, and that was it. So that may happen. Beyond that, I hope that you wonderful people, especially if you've made it this far and you're still watching, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. If you saw something in here will annoy somebody, feel free to share it. We'd love for them to see it. If by chance you think we did something good and you want to share it to somebody as well, that would be much appreciated. And according to the analytics, we're at a 97% ratio of people watching that aren't subscribed. If you're still here, why don't you subscribe? We'd appreciate it in a big, big way. As always, I am Shane with Shane's Reviews. I hope you enjoyed today's review. I'm not sure which one of these two videos you would choose if you do happen to choose one of them, but if you do, I will see you in the next video. Be safe, wash your hands, have a good week. Love you all. Peace.